This commenter is absolutely correct, and I just want to elaborate and clarify on a post that I made the other day addressing straight, white, cis male leftists, and essentially just saying thank you for being a part of the left. First, absolutely, if you are a working class person, all working class people on this planet are being oppressed and essentially enslaved to capitalists under capitalism, okay? We are all being exploited if you are a working class person, right? And that unites us all together, that we are all being exploited by capitalists under capitalism. However, even though that is true, okay, that we're all being oppressed by capitalists, within the working class community itself, hierarchies exist, okay? And if you are higher up on the hierarchies within the working class, you are awarded certain advantages or privileges than people who are lower on the hierarchies, okay? And these hierarchies are created through things like white supremacy and patriarchy, and capitalists will go ahead and use these things to perpetuate the hierarchies to get working class people fighting each other, right? And pointing fingers at one another, because the people who are lower on the hierarchies are saying how they are being marginalized and oppressed, and people higher up, because it's not their lived experience, they don't see it, right? Unless they listen to the people who are lower on the hierarchies. But a lot of people who are up higher on the hierarchies believe the lie that the people who are lower are lesser than them, right? And therefore they don't listen to their voices. They don't listen to their experiences, and they ignore them. And that's dangerous to do, okay? If you find yourself up on the higher up on the hierarchies within the working class, you should be, I am asking you to please listen to those who are lower than you on the hierarchy, right? Because you cannot ignore, or it is even dangerous to ignore, that you are awarded certain privileges under white supremacy and patriarchy simply because of your skin color, or because of your sex, or because of your sexuality, right? And so please don't get defensive when you hear the word privilege, right? It's not your fault. I just want to be very clear. It's not your fault you have these privileges, right? You didn't create this system. You're just a part of it, right? But acknowledge, it is so important to acknowledge they exist and find out what privileges exist. And you do that by listening to people who are not like you, who are marginalized in other ways that you are not marginalized. Okay, it is very important to listen to other marginalized groups that you aren't a part of, even if you're part of a different type of marginalized group, right? We should all be listening to each other's stories and validating their stories and amplifying their stories, right? And talk to our own demographics and tell the stories to our own people, right? Like, so for example, I consider myself white, right? And I will use the privileges I have obtained from being white to talk to other white people, because whether we like it or not, there are people who believe the lies and are racist, right? Who believe that people who are non-white, their voices don't matter as much, right? And they will listen to my voice more simply because I'm white, right? And so it's important to recognize these privileges, but use them again for and essentially to help dismantle the systems of oppression, right? So like, for example, if you're a man, I consider myself a woman, and I was born, female at birth. And there are people out there, no matter how logical I am, they will not listen to me simply because I am a woman, right? And they will, when they have the choice between listening to the story of a man versus a woman, they will choose the male's experience, right? And they will invalidate my experiences, right? Simply because I am a woman. And I need other men to listen to my stories or other women's stories and hear them, and then tell those stories to the men who won't listen, okay? So I just want to end with, absolutely, every working class person is oppressed under capitalism. However, it is important to work at dismantling the marginalization that does happen within the working class community itself, and helping lift each other up so that we can unite together and fight the capitalists who are exploiting us, and aim to liberate all people from exploitation and oppression.